everybody. So today I'm going to work on getting some dryer balls done. The RV season is like right around the corner. It's 1st of February now, and so I really need to get some dryer balls made. It's one of my best sellers for my RV guests. So it's time to stock up. Okay, so first thing I've got to do here is set up my skirting table, which it has seen some better days. I'm actually replacing some of the corner pieces today because, like I said, this poor thing has been shoved and slammed, and so things are just a little bit broken and need fixed. So I'll get that going first. This is just PVC pipe and chicken wire is what I have this made out of. So I will get that repaired, and then it'll be time for pulling out the fiber. Alright, well, you saw I was having some difficulty with that corner there, and in the end I couldn't get it, so I just got out the old reliable duct tape and fixed her up. Alright, so here it is. Skirting table. This is right off the alpaca, so it's not been cleaned or anything yet. There's still chunks of hay and dirt and stuff like that. So the main thing I'm going to do with this skirting right now is just kind of lay it out, try to pick out any of the really yucky parts. Shake out some dust to save that from the trying to clean it in the wash tub, and then just get it washed. You can see there's like these guard hairs right here. So this is all one fleece. Usually when I shear my alpacas, I do seconds, thirds, and then my first cut, is my blanket, and I keep them all separate. When these guys did theirs, they did not do that. I usually roll mine up too, so I can kind of see the shape and where each cut came from. Look at the whole twig of hay. So that's the kind of stuff I'm pulling out right now. It's just these long guard hairs that are really junky, little second cuts. So that means like when the shears went over it more than once, you get these little tiny nips type of thing. So I'll pull all those out. With dryer balls, you don't have to be so picky. If I were doing this for, like I said, scarf or spinning, I would have to be much more finicky about this process right now. But I will just do what I can right now with this. Okay, I just want to take a second here to kind of show you a close-up of the guard hairs compared to the regular fiber. So this is a guard hair, and you can see like it's kind of straight, doesn't have a lot of texture to it. It's rough. Like I can feel it, and you can feel the stuff. You see, and it's long and scraggly. So then this is the fiber that we want to keep. You can see it's got like crimp in it, and it's softer and fluffier. So this stuff will felt, and that's what makes the dryer balls work. Versus this stuff, which does not felt very well, and will end up sticking out and giving me all sorts of hate and discontent while I'm trying to make dryer balls. So these are the things I'm taking out and putting in the garbage bag to the side there. This is the stuff I'm keeping to wash. Now, I'm not wasting this stuff, just so you know. This guard hair still has use. We put it out in our gardens. We mulch our garden beds with it. We mulch around our fruit trees. We use it that way to protect, and it's actually really great at keeping voles out. The voles really dislike it, and so we wrap it even up our trunks of our fruit trees, and the voles and little critters don't even try to chew the bottom of our tree. So here is my fluffy pile of fiber. And the other thing I should tell you is, you can kind of tell it's fiber when you pull it apart and it's got kind of this webby thing, it clings together and it's webby. That's the good stuff that you want to use. This right here is my bag of discards of guard hairs and things like that. And you can kind of see they're all straight and they don't cling together and kind of junky. So those ones right there will go out to the garden. This right here is going into the tub. Okay, so here it is in the tub. I'm going to use my little shower handheld, and you'll see lots of stuff. Different people do it different ways, and this is just the way that I have found that best works for me in my situation. So I use a tote, and you know, if I was really concerned about it, if I was wanting to use this stuff for spinning and stuff, I probably would fill the water up first and then put the alpaca fiber in. In this case, I'm not too worried about it. I'll just make sure that my water's on low. The main concern I would have with pouring water, you know, directly onto it like this is that it might felt it. So I will just do the handheld and put it down on gentle and let it fill up slowly. Then I'll add just a tiny little bit of soap to help kind of cut some of the dirt and stuff like that out, and let it soak for a while. I usually do like 2 or 3 wash and rinses depending on how dirty the fiber is. This one is pretty clean, really. So I might just do 2, get away with 2 of them this time. And plus I'm doing dryer balls, so they're going to go into a bucket of soapy water when they're done anyways. So this is just to get the worst of the stuff off. So I just got that on very low, see? It's just trickling out, and I'll just let it sit in there and fill up, and I'll come and press this stuff down into it. I do use hot water. Some people don't. Like I said, everybody kind of has their own thing and their own theory about it. And yes, if you have hot water and soap and agitate it, then you're going to felt things. So you just have to be really careful during this step of the process, because you don't want it felted yet. Alright, so I've got the tub filled up with enough water, so I've just been very carefully submerging the fiber to make sure it's all wet. I added just a tiny little drizzle of soap on top, just like Dawn dish soap or whatever, you know, whatever you've got. And I don't want suds, so you see some bubbles forming there, so that means I'm done. I'm not going to do any more there. I do see I've missed a few guard hairs. Look at that, gross. So anyways, so I will just let this go. And you can kind of see already how much, look at the yellow, how much stuff is coming off of there already, this first soak already. So we will let this sit for about 20 minutes, and then I will dump the water and we'll fill it up again, and probably add a little bit of vinegar to cut the soap out, and let that soak for 20 more minutes, and then we'll put it on to my my skirting table to dry overnight. All right, so it's the next day. Fiber has been out here on the table all night, but it is not dry yet completely, and for me to pick it, it's got to be completely dry. So I'm going to just go through here and kind of pull it apart and fluff it a little bit. Hopefully it'll finish getting the last little bits dry, and then later tonight or tomorrow, I guess we'll pick it then. So just one more day into the process. So our fiber finally got dried, and I was able to get it pulled over and start picking. I just want to take a second to show you just what this is kind of what it looks like before. You can see the fiber before, it's all kind of smashed together, stuff like that. And then this is what it looks like afterwards. You can see how fluffy it is. And it just kind of feeds out this end here and goes right into my box. So I'll just kind of show you, oops, get this piece in here. That was probably a little bit big of a piece to go in here. Really, I shouldn't do anything that's more than a couple fingers in diameter. Just a small handful is best. See, so now you can see it coming out and how fluffy it is on this side. So that is the goal, because it makes it a lot easier to get your balls all wound up when it's fluffy and webby like that. So another important part of this picking is that it pulls more dirt out. So you kind of saw we shook dirt out on the skirting table, and then we put it in the wash and got more dirt out. And here at the picking, you can see how much dirt has come out of what I've done so far. You know, you wouldn't think it as you feel this stuff. It doesn't feel dirty. Unlike sheep, alpacas don't have the lanolin, so it's not waxy or anything like that is coming out, and there's no scent or anything. It smells clean. It's seriously just some dirt. The alpacas love to have dust baths. It's one of the ways that they keep clean, and so yeah, so there's a lot of dirt in their fiber, which makes it, you know, incidentally kind of hard to shear too, because they really dull your clippers quick. So it takes a little extra time processing that too, but again, at least you don't have to scour it like sheep. And there never is any sort of a sheep smell to it, which is really nice. So alright, so I've got my big box of fiber here now, And this is where I start to wind my balls up. Some people, I'm gonna twist a little bit. Okay. So some people will use a carder and straighten out the fibers and stuff like that and then do it. I've found that just kind of is a waste of time for me with the way that I do it. Of course, everybody has their own technique for this kind of, and there's several different ways that people do it. Like I said, some people card it out and then wind it up with it all straight. I've tried one time to do it. This one person was like, oh, this is the easiest way ever. And you just like grab handfuls of it and shove it into a stocking, like not wound up, and then put it in the wash and let it go. And that did not give very good results. The balls would have like creases in them and they would fall apart. So don't recommend that route. But what I have found is the best way is, like I said, just kind of get this all picked out like this. And then you can see how webby this is because it's the fiber part, it's not the hair and the guard hairs. So then I just kind of start winding up this ball and kind of feed it through like it's a really kind of a dense and rough batting. And I do this until my ball is formed. And I try not to leave too big of chunks. I try to thin it out, pull it out a little bit like this, because I don't want big chunks, because that is what causes those creases in there. But you can see how fluffy and sticky this stuff is to each other. So I will just keep on doing this until I have about 2 ounces of fiber, and I have a little digital scale that I weigh each ball with. So we will do this and get as many balls as we can out of here. And then I'll meet back to take you on to the next steps. So this seems like a good time to tell you a little bit more about dryer balls, and they're really great for the environment, for your clothes. They really are long lasting, and when you're all done with them and they are worn out, they can be composted, which is really nice. So I highly recommend them to anybody, especially if you want natural stuff. Alright, so I've got a big pile of wool balls here, and the next step is that we're going to get them ready to go into some hot soapy water to start felting. To do that and to keep their shape, I use just some stockings, you know, women's dress stockings. And what's important with them is that you flip the toe out, because the toe has this little seam. So before you start putting balls in there, you have to flip it on the outside because it'll felt to the balls and it kind of makes them a little bit weird. So I'm just going to put the balls straight down into the hole, shove it all the way down there, put the ball in, and then some people will tie a knot with the nylon like this and then knot it up, but then I found that the only way to get it out is to cut it, and then you can't reuse them. And I love to be able to reuse over and over. Anyways, so I like to use a little piece of yarn and just tie it between to keep the balls separated. And then I'll just fill this all the way up until I can't fit any more in there. And this will help to felt the outside because the nylon will agitate with the hot water and soap and just help it move a little bit faster. And like I said, also the main thing is helping it to keep its shape. So there's one row of balls. I might be able to squeeze one more on the top there and get 5 on this one. But we'll just do that with all the rest of them, and then we'll be time to stick them in some hot water and soap and start felting. So I've got a little tote here with some hot water in it. All of the balls tied into their nylons and some liquid soap there. I'm just going to throw them in here, soak them up with water, put soap on them, and we will start scrubbing to get them to felt. This is a part that the kids really like to participate in too, so we'll see how big of a mess we can make. Okay, so I just kind of start submerging the balls. The fiber is still pretty loose at this point, so we have to kind of be careful so we don't accidentally pull it apart or divide it while it's in there. So at this point, like I said, I'm just kind of getting the butt suds built up and trying to get the felting started. When I grab each of these balls, I'm rubbing it around until I can feel it starting to get solid in the center. And then I'll also notice that some fiber will start to poke through the nylon. And you'll notice I keep pulling the nylons a little bit and stretching it away from the ball. And that's kind of how I know that it's ready to be taken off. Is once the fiber starts felting to the nylon. And then I start dividing them out, taking them out, and one by one finishing felting the outsides. As I do this, I'll pick a few little pieces off here and there, but once I'm done with this, I'll put them in the washer and then the dryer, and then they'll be done. Hello! Alright, so those dryer balls are out of the wash, out of the dryer, and you can see how tight they are now compared to before, and they're all, relatively round. Some of them are a little bit oblong, but at this stage you can still kind of squish them around and they will get round again. You'll notice that a lot of them have little hairs and stuff popping out, and I just go through and shave them off, do a little trim, and then they are ready to go. So I'll get ready to bag these up and put them out for my my customers and RV guests. So I hope this helped you. If you decide to try it, let me know how yours turn out. See ya!